Spoilers ASMR. Today I thought I'd do a movie review of Space Sweepers. This is not a typical movie review. Instead, I'm going to look at 10 movie plot lines that really confused me. There will be spoilers in this movie review, so please, if you haven't watched Space Sweepers, go ahead and watch Space Sweepers first. Just a bit about the movie. Space Sweepers is about a group of space sweepers, 3 people in particular, who collect space junk and sell it for money. In the future, Earth is no longer habitable, so there's a company called UTS, and they create a world of in orbit of Earth where rich people basically go and live. And there's a whole story behind why Earth is no longer habitable, but basically UTS are dumping radioactive stuff onto Earth, and that's why Earth is becoming slowly uninhabitable. The main villain, his name is Sullivan, James Sullivan. He's the CEO of UTS or something like that, and he basically hates all humans. He had a tragic childhood which made him lose his faith in humanity, and so he wants all the bad people, bad humans to die basically, and he handpicks people to come to his world that he built orbiting Earth. Yeah. And the main storyline follows the space sweepers, those 3 people, and this little girl, who basically her ability is to grow life because she was given nanobots, and these nanobots that were basically integrated into her body because she has this disease that she couldn't cure. These nanobots help cure the disease, but also gave her the ability to grow life. And the storyline is basically UTS wants to kill her off because they used her to grow their worlds, basically. And now they want to get rid of her so that the Earth and everyone, the humans don't discover that UTS were basically making up a lie about their technologies that they used to grow the life for their worlds. The storyline is a bit complicated. So you can see why I chose this movie to talk about 10 different confusing plot lines in the movie, because overall the movie was pretty confusing to me at certain points. I mean, it made sense kind of in the end. It wasn't like a complete mess, but there were some things that I want to talk about. So the first thing is about the main character. The main character's name is Teo, and Teo was a child soldier. He was a UTS citizen, but then he got his citizenship revoked, taken away from him, because he was a child soldier, and he grew up being a child soldier. And when he was like 20 years old or something, he found a little girl who was alive after he had killed a mother and everyone else on the ship that he was hunting. And that changed him. That made him no longer want to harm other people anymore, right? So he kind of like found goodness in himself, and he stopped wanting to be a soldier. The confusing part for me is that if Teo was a child soldier, I get that he doesn't want to harm other people. I get that he doesn't want to harm other people, but why doesn't he have any self-defense? confused me throughout the whole movie. Because you can do self-defense without harming other people, you know. Just stop them from attacking you, basically. So as a child soldier, did he not learn any self-defense or any sort of martial arts just to stop other people from attacking him? Not to harm or kill, but just to stop people harming him. So in the whole movie, whenever there's a fight going on, he always looks really scared and always looks kind of like frightened. So that really confused me. Number 2. Why was Teo kicked out? So Teo was adopted into the UDS by James Sullivan, the CEO, and made into a child soldier. When he stopped being a child soldier, he was kicked out of the UDS, right? His citizenship was taken away. My question is, why was he kicked out? Why was that so necessary to kick him out? Why couldn't he become like an advisor? Or like, a strategist? Or something like that for some other part of UDS. It doesn't even have to be about warfare. It could be anything else. Could it be like a publicist? You know, like a spokesperson or something to talk about how great UTS is. So that was a little confusing to me. It seemed a bit extreme to kick him out entirely. It just went from like 0 to 100. Another example of going from 0 to 100 is Sullivan. So, Sullivan is clearly the villain of the movie, but the way they reveal that he's like evil is really, it's really contrasting from my memory when I watched the movie. There's one scene where some reporters are questioning his motives and his morals, right? And he seems okay, he's trying to play it down, he's trying to minimize it, that's fine. But then, the scene after where he appears, he's in a boardroom with, like, presumably board directors and other people who run the company for him. And in this board meeting, he gets, like, super evil. He has his veins coming down his neck, and he looks like an actual evil person, and he sounds evil, and the way he treats other people sounds evil. So he went from this guy who was trying to play coy and be shy about his motives to full on just evil, and that was really jarring for me, and I don't know why they just didn't try to gradually reveal that it was evil. So yeah. In that scene with the board directors, there's a very quick scene where they explain the presence of nanobots, and I was kind of losing focus at this point in the movie, so when they explain why nanobots existed, I kind of missed that and had to go back and figure it out. And so it's really like the nanobots seem like a very convenient plot device, and I'll talk about why. But yeah, they never really explain nanobots fully, except for that like maybe 5-second scene where they explain it, and so even I missed that, and I was really confused what they were. So I didn't really like the way they explained nanobots, and didn't really give much details around it, and kind of never referred to them more than once. They explain the ones that exist in space, and they explain the ones that exist in the little girl Dorothy or Cotman. But that's it. So that leads me to my next point, which is I didn't like the fact that they were saved by nanobots. That wasn't really, again, convenient plot device. So in the end, they have to move this hydrogen bomb far away from the little girl so that she's saved. And the hydrogen blows up on the ship because they carried it away. But when it blows up, somehow the ship is saved by a whole bunch of nanobots. And I think we're expected to believe that either the nanobots were just happened to be in space near the ship, or the nanobots had been on the ship since the ship flew through the cloud of nanobots earlier in the movie. Either way, it is a super convenient plot device, and I was just confused how convenient it was to have these nanobots save the ship from a hydrogen bomb blast. I think maybe because supposedly the nanobots come from the hydrogen bomb, right? Supposedly nanobots are created from hydrogen bomb blast. So when the hydrogen bomb blew up around the ship, nanobots were created, and that's what saved the ship, now that I think about it. Still, again, very convenient. Going back to Sullivan is evil. So Sullivan hates the main character. After the main character stopped wanting to be a soldier and he was kicked out, it seems that Sullivan thought that the main character is not a good person. So there's lots of irony here, like Sullivan basically hates human and Earth. He thinks they're like a disease, or he thinks like they got bad morals or something, but ironically, the main character is a soldier who kills other people. So as long as he kills bad people, he's a good person. So that's ironic. And then Sullivan hates the MC because it's confusing, because the MC stopped being a soldier because he found that the girl who becomes his daughter, which sounds like a good thing. So Sullivan maybe doesn't think that's a good thing, or thinks that it's fake or something, because Sullivan tempts the MC with money so that he can go find his daughter. But he wants to go find his daughter because he feels bad that he got her killed. So it's just really confusing how Sullivan is judging the MC. Like, the moral high ground that Sullivan plays is really confusing. It just doesn't make any sense. What is right and what's wrong. Which means that he's kind of a poorly developed villain. And not only is a poorly developed villain, but he's also not a great mastermind, because the H-bomb, the hydrogen bomb, has a timer. So why is it that the hydrogen bomb, which is the key to Sullivan's plan for the whole thing, why doesn't it have a remote? As simple as that it needs a remote. Number 8. So what I found confusing was the other space sweepers. Like there's a bunch of space sweepers. So the other space sweepers come to help the main space sweepers with fighting Sullivan and his drones. But the only reason they came is because Captain Chang made this motivational speech, and somehow everyone's on board now. And that made no sense to me, like, because it seemed like those characters, at least some of them would run away. But yeah, all of them came somehow, all of them united. And then not only that, they went to fight the drones. And somehow all of the space sweepers, from what I could tell, survived the drone attacks who have guns and missiles. So they united and they fought the drones and they somehow survived. It seemed in an already unrealistic movie, obviously, because it's a futuristic movie, but like just the practicality of this part just really confused me. The ninth thing that I was confused was by the relationship between the main character and Cottonham. So Cottonham, or Dorothy, right? He tries to avoid getting emotionally attached to her throughout the whole movie, because at first he thinks she's a robot. Later on he finds out that she's actually human, but he still tries to like not get attached to her. And that's fine, I get it, because he was trying to sell her off to make money, like $2 million. So that makes sense. The part that confused me was when Dorothy's dad died, right? When the dad died, how was the MC not, like, much more affected by the dad dying and Cottonham being kidnapped, because he had to see his daughter die. And he saw his daughter's mum killed, because he killed his daughter's mum, original biological mum. So it just seemed to me that he should have been much more affected by this dynamic here between Dorothy and her dad dying. But it didn't really seem like the MC was affected by that in the way that I thought it could have been shown by the director. You know, his emotional empathy for this relationship. So that was really weird that he didn't really connect with Dorothy as much as I thought he would be, even after the tragic death of the dad. And the last thing is this really confused me. Sullivan being recorded. So towards the end, Sullivan goes confront the space sweepers. He's actually in his own ship attacking the space sweepers. But as he's doing that, there's this whole thing where there's a meteor lake, where a recording of Sullivan's talking about his plans to destroy the Earth is revealed. So even the UTS citizens feel really bad about that, and they can't believe him. So there's two things that confuse me about that scene. Who the heck was recording Sullivan in the first place? It wasn't really explained. Wow, was it those reporters maybe? Like who was recording the secret conversation? And the second thing was, doesn't Sullivan control the media? So how did the media leak a recording of Sullivan when Sullivan controls the media? Because there's some bits in the movie where it clearly shows that Sullivan has the capacity to control the narrative of the media. So that really confused me. Like, that just seemed to come out of nowhere. And it was also convenient because they needed a way to like make the UTN's citizens feel empathy and sympathy for the Earth citizens. And that just seems to be the only way to reveal a recording of Sullivan. So yeah. So those are 10 things that really confused about Space Sweepers. I hope you enjoyed that movie review, and I hope you found this to be somewhat relaxing. In any case, please enjoy your night,